The interview room at Apex Airlines smells like leather and old coffee. Marcus Chen sits in the center chair, pilot's uniform pressed sharp, resumes spread across the mahogany table. Across from him, 3 people in navy blazers. The woman on the left taps her pen against a tablet. The man on the right hasn't looked up from his phone. And in the middle, Captain Victoria Harlow leans back, arms crossed, staring at the stuffed elephant sitting on Marcus's lap. Not the elephant itself, the pink fabric worn pale at the ears, the stitching coming loose at one trunk seam. She doesn't ask about his flight hours. She doesn't ask about his certifications. She asks why he brought a toy to a professional interview. Marcus doesn't flinch. He says his daughter Emma handed it to him this morning. Said he needed Ellie for luck. He's 29 years old, single father of a 4-year-old, and he's holding a stuffed animal in a room where men twice his age have been turned away. The woman on the left snorts. Soft, almost polite, but Marcus hears it. This is the moment everything turns. Not toward hope, toward something colder. Watch what happens when the only man who can save a plane full of people is the same man they laughed at 60 seconds ago. Marcus Chen wasn't supposed to be in this room. 3 months ago he was flying cargo routes across the Pacific. Red-eye shifts, empty cabins. Pay that barely covered rent and daycare. Emma's preschool called him twice a week because he was late for pickup. The other parents knew him as the guy who showed up in his flight jacket smelling like jet fuel, apologizing to teachers who'd already clocked out. He applied to Apex Airlines on a Tuesday night after Emma fell asleep, uploaded his resume at 11:47. Expected nothing. Got an interview request 16 hours later. The email said to arrive at 9. He pulled up at 8:30. Sat in the parking lot with Ellie, the elephant buckled into the passenger seat because Emma made him promise. She'd pressed the stuffed animal into his hands that morning, her small fingers gripping his wrist. She'd said, "Ellie makes scared go away, Daddy." Marcus had kissed her forehead. Told her he wasn't scared. She'd looked at him the way only a 4-year-old can, like she knew better. Now he's watching Captain Harlow flip through his file. She doesn't read it. She scans. Her eyes move fast, clinical, the way pilots read instruments during descent. The man on her right finally looks up from his phone. He's younger than Marcus expected. Maybe 35, clean-shaven. Wedding ring catching the overhead light. He asks Marcus about gaps in his employment. 2 years, right after Emma was born. Marcus doesn't hesitate. He says his wife left when Emma was 6 weeks old. Postpartum depression turned into something darker. She disappeared one morning. No note, no calls. Just gone. He took time off to figure out how to be a parent and a pilot. Took him 2 years to find balance. Took him another year to stop looking for her in crowds. The room goes quiet. Not the respectful kind, the uncomfortable kind. The woman on the left writes something on her tablet. Doesn't look up. Doesn't ask a follow-up question. Just writes. Marcus watches her stylus move across the screen. Quick strokes. Efficient. Like she's checking a box. Captain Harlow closes his file. She leans forward, elbows on the table, hands clasped. She asks him one question. What happens when your daughter gets sick and you're 30,000 feet over the Atlantic? Marcus has heard this before. Different words. Same meaning. What happens when you can't be in 2 places at once? What happens when the choice is between the job and the kid? What happens when you're a father first and a pilot second? He doesn't give her the answer she expects. He says Emma's never been sick on a day he's been scheduled to fly. He says his sister lives 4 blocks away. He says he has a network of backup plans that go 6 deep. He says he's never missed a shift. Never called in, never failed to show up. Captain Harlow nods. Slow. The kind of nod that isn't agreement. Just acknowledgement. She stands. The man on the right stands. The woman on the left gathers her tablet and stands. The interview is over. They don't tell Marcus when he'll hear back. They don't shake his hand. They just walk out, one by one. Polite. Professional. Phenol. Marcus sits alone in the room. Ellie the elephant rests on the table now. He stares at the door they just walked through. He doesn't move. Not yet. He thinks about Emma. About the way she hugged Ellie this morning before handing her over. About the way she whispered into the elephant's ear like she was sending a message. About the way she looked at him when she said scared goes away. He picks up Ellie, tucks her under his arm, walks out. The parking lot is bright. Too bright. He squints against the sun and unlocks his car. Slides into the driver's seat. Buckles Ellie into the passenger side. He doesn't start the engine. Not yet. His phone buzzes. Text from his sister. How'd it go? He types back. Same as always. She responds instantly. Their loss. Marcus doesn't reply. He turns the key. The engine hums. He drives home. Picks up Emma from preschool. She runs to him with paint on her hands and a picture she made. It's a plane. Crooked wings. A stick figure in the cockpit? She tells him it's him. Flying. She tells him she drew Ellie in the co-pilot seat. Marcus kneels down. Eye level with his daughter? He tells her the picture is perfect. He tells her she's perfect. He doesn't tell her the interview went badly. Doesn't tell her the people in that room looked at him like he was a risk. Doesn't tell her he's tired of being judged for being a father. Emma hands him Ellie. Says the elephant did her job. Says Daddy didn't look scared at all. Marcus hugs her, tight, long enough that she squirms and giggles. He drives her home, makes her dinner, chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs, reads her 2 stories before bed. She falls asleep holding Ellie. Marcus stands in the doorway watching her breathe, small chest rising and falling, hair spread across the pillow. He goes to his own room, sits on the edge of the bed, checks his email. Nothing from Apex Airlines. He's not surprised. He's about to close the laptop when a new message arrives. Not from Apex, from an unknown sender. Subject line, emergency contract pilot needed, immediate response required. Marcus opens it. The message is short, direct. A private charter company needs a pilot for a medical evacuation flight. Departure in 6 hours. Patient in critical condition. Destination is a hospital in Geneva. Pay is triple his normal rate. He replies within 60 seconds. Accepts the job. Sends his credentials. Gets confirmation 4 minutes later. He calls his sister. She answers on the first ring. He asks if she can take Emma tonight. She says yes before he finishes the sentence. She always says yes. He packs his flight bag, double-checks his license, his certifications, his medical clearance. Everything current, everything valid. He changes into his uniform, stands in front of the mirror, adjusts his tie, picks up Ellie from Emma's room, tucks the elephant into his bag. He tells himself it's for luck. He knows it's because Emma would want him to. He kisses his daughter's forehead. She doesn't wake up. He leaves a note on the kitchen counter for his sister. Back by morning. Love you both. He drives to the airport, private terminal. Smaller than the commercial side, quieter. A woman in a medical uniform meets him at the gate. She's holding a clipboard. She doesn't smile. She says the patient is a 12-year-old girl. Organ transplant recipient, complications from rejection. Needs to reach Geneva in 8 hours or the window closes. Marcus nods. He's flown medical evacuations before. The pressure is different. The stakes higher. Every minute matters. Every decision is life or death. He walks to the plane. Gulfstream G650.
Sleek.
Fast. He does the pre-flight check. Fuel. Systems. Weather. Everything is green. The medical team loads the patient. Marcus doesn't see her face. Just the gurney sliding into the cabin. Monitors beeping. IV lines running. 2 nurses flanking the stretcher. He climbs into the cockpit. Settles into the captain's seat. Runs through the checklist. Contacts the tower. Gets clearance for departure. The engines roar to life. Smooth. Powerful. He taxis to the runway. Throttles up. The plane accelerates. 60 knots. 80. 100. Rotation speed. He pulls back on the yoke. The nose lifts. Wheels leave the ground. He's airborne. The flight plan is direct. No stops. No delays. He climbs to 41,000 feet. Levels off. The autopilot engages. He monitors the instruments. Fuel flow. Airspeed. Altitude. Everything nominal. 2 hours in, the weather changes. A system moving faster than forecasted. He gets an alert from air traffic control. Turbulence ahead. Moderate to severe. He considers deviating, but deviation adds 30 minutes. 30 minutes they don't have. He keeps course. Warns the medical team. They secure the patient, strap down equipment. The turbulence hits. Hard. The plane shudders. Drops. Climbs. Drops again. The wings flex. The fuselage groans. Marcus grips the yoke. He doesn't fight the turbulence. He rides it. Smooth inputs. Small corrections. He's done this 1,000 times. The medical team stays calm. One nurse holds the patient's hand. The other monitors vitals. The girl is unconscious, sedated, unaware of the violence happening around her. The turbulence lasts 14 minutes. Feels like an hour. When it clears, Marcus exhales. Checks the instruments. Everything's still green. No damage. No alarms. He contacts Geneva approach. Gets descent clearance. Begins the approach. The city lights appear below. Bright against the dark. He lines up with the runway. Gear down. Flaps extended. Speed stable. He crosses the threshold. Touches down. Smooth. Controlled. He brakes. The plane slows. Stops. The medical team rushes the patient off. Marcus doesn't see them go. He's already running post-flight checks. Shutting down systems. Recording flight data. His phone buzzes. Email from Apex Airlines. He freezes. stares at the screen, opens it. We regret to inform you that we've decided to move forward with other candidates. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. Marcus reads it twice, puts the phone down, picks up Ellie the elephant from his flight bag, holds her for a moment, then he finishes his checks, secures the plane, walks out. He's back home by morning. Emma is awake, eating cereal. His sister is making coffee. Emma sees him and screams, runs to him. He catches her, lifts her up. She asks if Ellie was good luck. Marcus looks at the stuffed elephant, at his daughter's face, at the light coming through the kitchen window. He says yes, Ellie was perfect. 3 days later, Marcus gets another call, not from a charter company, from Apex Airlines, Captain Victoria Harlow herself. She doesn't apologize for the rejection email. She asks if he can be at the airport in 2 hours. There's been an incident, a commercial flight inbound from Tokyo. Engine failure on approach. Hydraulic malfunction. The pilot is struggling. The co-pilot is injured. They need someone who can talk a panicked crew through a dead stick landing. Someone who stays calm when everything is breaking. Someone who's landed planes in conditions that shouldn't be survivable. She asks if he's that person. Marcus doesn't hesitate. He says yes. He calls his sister. She's already on her way. He changes into his uniform, grabs his flight bag, picks up Ellie. Emma is watching cartoons. He kneels beside her, tells her daddy has to go help someone. She hands him Ellie, says the elephant knows what to do. He drives to the airport, faster than he should, parks in the emergency zone, runs to the operations center. Captain Harlow is there. No blazer now. Flight suit. Headset. She points to a chair, hands him a second headset. The frequency crackles. A voice. Male. Young. Terrified. Apex 743, we've lost hydraulics. Manual reversion. Flight controls are unresponsive. Request immediate assistance. Marcus keys the mic. His voice is steady, calm. He identifies himself. He asks for their position, their altitude, their fuel state. The pilot responds. They're 12 miles out, 3,000 feet. Fuel is low, sinking fast. Marcus talks him through it, step by step. He tells him to dump airspeed, tells him to use asymmetric thrust for directional control, tells him to aim for the numbers, not the center line, the numbers. The pilot's voice cracks. He says he can't do it. He's going to crash. He's going to kill everyone on board. Marcus doesn't let him spiral. He says, you're not crashing. You're landing. There's a difference. Trust your hands. Trust your training. I'm with you. Well, the frequency goes quiet. Then the pilot responds. Copy. Marcus watches the radar. The blip is descending. Too fast. He tells the pilot to pull power back. Gentle, not aggressive. The descent rate slows. The plane is over the runway threshold. 500 feet. 400. 300. The tower clears the field. Emergency vehicles line the taxiway. Foam trucks. Ambulances. Everyone is holding their breath. 200 feet. 100. 50. The pilot says, I see the runway. Marcus says, then take her home. The plane touches down. Hard. Too hard, but down. The tires screech. The fuselage shudders. The plane veers left. The pilot corrects. Overcorrects. The plane swerves right. He corrects again. The speed bleeds off. The plane straightens. Slows. Stops. Dead center on the runway. The frequency erupts. Cheers. Voices overlapping. The tower controller is crying. Captain Harlow is gripping the desk. Marcus puts down the headset. He stands. His hands are shaking. Captain Harlow looks at him, not the way she did in the interview room. Different. She says, you just saved 212 people. Marcus doesn't respond. He walks to the window, watches the emergency crews surround the plane, watches passengers deplane. Some are limping. Some are crying. All are alive. His phone buzzes. Text from his sister. Emma wants to know if Ellie helped. Marcus looks at his flight bag, at the stuffed elephant's pink ears sticking out. He types back. She did. Captain Harlow is behind him now. She says they need someone like him, someone who doesn't panic, someone who leads when everything is falling apart. She says the rejection email was a mistake. She says the board overruled her. She says if he still wants the job, it's his. Marcus turns, looks at her, at the woman who sat across from him 3 days ago and judged him for being a father. She's not sitting now. She's standing next to him, eye level. No blazer, no crossed arms. Just a pilot talking to another pilot. She says, I'm sorry, for what it's worth. Marcus thinks about Emma, about the way she handed him Ellie this morning, about the way she said scared goes away, about the way she believed in him when no one else did. He says, I'll take the job, but I need one thing. Captain Harlow nods. Name it. I pick up my daughter from preschool every day at 3. No exceptions. She doesn't hesitate. She says, done. Marcus extends his hand. She shakes it. Firm. Respectful. Equal. He walks out of the operations center. Gets in his car. Drives home. Emma is waiting on the porch. She sees him and runs. He catches her. Lifts her up. She asks if he saved people. He says yes. She asks if Ellie helped. He says yes. She hugs the elephant. Then hugs him. She says she knew Daddy could do it. She says Ellie told her. Marcus holds his daughter. Holds the stuffed animal between them. Thinks about the interview room. About the rejection email. About the plane that almost crashed. About the voice on the radio that said he couldn't do it. He thinks about the moment he said yes anyway. Emma pulls back. Looks at him. Says, can we get ice cream? Marcus laughs. First time in days. He says yes. They get in the car. Buckle Ellie into the back seat. Drive to the ice cream shop 2 blocks away. Order cones. Sit on the curb outside. Emma swings her legs. Licks her cone. Asks if he's happy. Marcus looks at her. At the strawberry ice cream on her chin. At the stuffed elephant sitting between them. He says, yeah, I am. But he's thinking about tomorrow. About the flight schedule Captain Harlow will send him. About the uniform hanging in his closet. About the cockpit he'll climb into. About the passengers who won't know his name. Won't know he's a single father. Won't know he almost didn't get the job. They'll just know he got them home. Emma finishes her ice cream. Asks if they can go to the park. Marcus checks his watch. They have time. He says yes. They walk 3 blocks. Emma runs to the swings. Marcus pushes her. Higher, higher. She laughs. The sound carries. His phone buzzes. Email from Apex Airlines. Official offer letter. Start date in 2 weeks. Salary triple what he made flying cargo. Benefits. Retirement. Flight schedule that gets him home every night. He reads it standing behind the swings. Reads it while Emma yells, higher, Daddy. He clicks accept. Emma jumps off the swing mid-arc. Lands hard. Stumbles. Gets up laughing. She runs to the slide. Marcus follows. She climbs the ladder. Slides down. Climbs again. Slides again. She doesn't stop. Doesn't slow down. Marcus watches her. Thinks about the plane. About the voice. About the moment between falling and landing. About the choice to say yes when everything inside screams no. Emma runs back to him. Breathing hard. Face flushed. She asks if they can come back tomorrow. Marcus says yes. She grabs his hand. They walk home. Ellie tucked under her other arm. The sun is setting. The street is quiet. The air smells like cut grass in summer. They reach the house. Emma runs inside. Marcus stands on the porch. Looks at the sky. At the planes passing overhead. Tiny dots against the orange horizon. He thinks about the one he'll be flying soon. About the people inside. About the trust they'll place in him without knowing his name. He walks inside. Emma is on the couch. Ellie in her lap. She's watching cartoons. Marcus sits beside her. She leans into him. Warm, small, safe. His phone buzzes again. Text from Captain Harlow. See you in 2 weeks. Marcus doesn't reply. He puts the phone down. Wraps his arm around Emma. On the TV, a cartoon plane flies through clouds. Emma points. Says, that's you, Daddy. Marcus smiles. Says, that's me. But he's thinking about the interview room. About the people who laughed. About the rejection email. About the voice that said he couldn't. He's thinking about the moment he proved them wrong. Emma falls asleep against him. Marcus doesn't move. He stays there. Holding her. Holding Ellie. Watching the cartoon plane disappear into